friends, yes, welcome to another episode once again of Nintendo Nightcap, bringing you, of course, your daily Nintendo news. Hope you're well. I'm PG, thank you for asking. Things are messy though, things are hot, they're popping off all over the place. So we gotta talk about it. We gotta talk about Kotaku, who are being Kotaku. We gotta talk about Reggie Fils-Aimé, yes, ex-president of Nintendo America, back in the house and back taking some names. And then we gotta talk about the curious case of the disappearing AAA Switch titles. But is that because they're gonna reappear on the Switch 2, Switch Pro? We're gonna speculate is what we're gonna do. But before we do, let's quickly just say, if you're new here and you like what you see, consider hitting that like, subscribe, and that bell, sharing to your friends, helps the community grow. And then pull up that chair and sit with us as we get into today's first story, which is the case of the disappearing AAA Switch titles. Mouthful. Tapping again though, folks, this time with Marvel's Midnight Suns, a team-based strategy game, card-based game in the vein of XCOM, which was due out with the current gen consoles day and date, but it did end up getting delayed, pushed back a few times. Obviously, the other version was released about 5 months ago on the PS5 and Xbox Series X. And just recently, just the other day, a statement was released confirming the versions of the PS4 and Xbox One versions, last gen versions. And in a single line of the statement, it just read, note that the Switch version is no longer planned. No reason given. Now, the game it was a well-received game. I believe it's sitting at a 83 on Metacritic, but it did not sell well. The president of 2K recently gave an interview where he said as much. He said that they were disappointed by the sales. Now, could it be that they didn't think it was worth it bringing to the Switch, which I find weird considering there's 125, 130 million Switch consoles out in the wild. And the other thing to consider is this game would have been in development for the Switch for a few years at least, meaning they'd already spent a bucket full of money. So does it make sense to pull the plug at the last second and just, throw away all that money? What if it's being held back, to release on a higher spec Nintendo console, on a Switch Pro or Switch 2? What if it was easier to just wait and port it over to that console? It's curious. The fact that we don't have any information at all does make me wonder, and because this is not the first example of this happening. Dying Light 2 on the Switch is another game that was announced, another AAA game that was announced over a year ago in a direct. And unlike Marvel's Midnight Suns, this was a cloud version that was going to be released on the Switch. Now, it's been over a year since we've heard anything about it. It was delayed, no date given, and nothing has been heard since. Now, no one is going to convince me that you need an entire extra year to bring over a cloud version of a game. That can't be the reason at all. So, what other motivations could there be behind this decision? Could it be that they are in fact working on an actual port to bring over again to a more powerful Switch? It seems as though that could be a legitimate reason. The fact that we have heard nothing, is quite telling. If they were going to cancel the game, they would have cancelled it. But again, I just don't think you're going to take a year to bring over a cloud-based game. So, that in itself is intriguing. And furthermore, there's yet another case. We can talk about Harry Potter Hogwarts. Hogwarts Legacy. That is another game, once again, announced for the Switch, not a cloud-based game, but an actual port. And this is a game, keep in mind that this is a very pretty game, open world game, intensive looking game, but that was announced as a straight port on the Switch. Now, it has subsequently been delayed a few times, but it is now due out in July, and we have not seen anything about this game. We have not heard nothing. We have not seen screenshots. We have not seen any footage, nothing. And, the fact that we are a couple of months away from release and still have not seen anything is very sus to me. Is this another game that they could be bringing over to a more powerful Switch? This is what I'm thinking. Now, you put this in hand with the rumors of a Pokemon Violet upgrade that got rumored and, leaked a few months ago, supposedly for a new powerful Switch. And, couple that again with the, recent rumors of a Nintendo Direct possibly unveiling a more powerful console. Now, this is all speculation, but it begs the question. Something is going on with these AAA games that are being announced and then, just disappeared. And, a game like, Marvel's Midnight Sun, that is, it's a pretty game. It's full of action, but it's not a game that I look at and think, oh, well, that's impossible to bring over to the Switch, especially when you consider, the ports of Dying Light and Witcher 3, let's say. That is a game that looks very possible to be ported over. So, it does beg the questions. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. Do you think I'm just reaching, or do you think there's legitimate reasons to think that these games are being pushed to a more powerful Switch? Let me know in the comments. Next up, we're going to talk about Kotaku, who are basically just clowning around like only Kotaku can. What does that mean? Well, unlike you and I, who are trying to avoid Tears of the Kingdom spoilers, Kotaku have, in what seems like a petty act of revenge on Nintendo, we'll talk about that in a second, they have effectively gathered up all the leaks, all the footage that early adopters of the game have, leaked and surfaced online. Kotaku has gathered all of them up and detailed all of them in an article they named Everything We're Learning About the Tears of the Kingdom Leaks. So, insane. They're basically helping to spread the spoilers, circulating the leaks, if you will, in a move that's sure to anger Nintendo even more. And what have they leaked? Everything. So I'm not going to go into it. No spoilers here as always. I've been trying to avoid it myself, but as I understand it, everything that's been shown, everything that's been leaked footage-wise, all the questions that we ever had when we were watching the trailers, what might be included, what might not, what we might see, what we might not, all of those questions are being detailed in the article, completely unfiltered by Kotaku. Now, I said before, this seems like a petty act of revenge on Nintendo from Kotaku. Why is that? Well, it turns out that they have been blacklisted by Nintendo. No reason given, but we don't have to look very far to, think why Nintendo might have done that. In fact, if we just look back a couple of years ago, the day after Metroid Dread had released, Kotaku actually released an article where they more or less encouraged their readers to go and check out an emulated version of the game. In fact, they even shared a screenshot that had a link to one of the sites. So from that alone, it wouldn't be a surprise to you that they'd been blacklisted by Nintendo. Why would Nintendo want any part to do with this company? But it seems, the editors at Kotaku themselves are pretty surprised, because one of their chief editors actually tweeted about this the other day, and he had this to say about it. He said, it's preview day for Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, a huge game I would love for Kotaku to be able to inform its millions of readers about firsthand. Unfortunately, Nintendo still has it blacklisted from advanced coverage, a move I would argue is both, check this, unprofessional and coercive. So, they encourage their readers to go and check out emulated versions of one of their most important games, their most important IP, the day after it's released. And then when Nintendo doesn't trust them to preview a game, they call it unprofessional of Nintendo. And then after that, they go and react. How do they react to that? They go and grab all the leaked information and spread it online. So, like I said, this is Kotaku. Kotaku, they are basically clowns at this point. This is not new for them. They have a lot of history of doing this kind of stuff. In fact, if we go back 2013, they famously leaked Fallout 4 before anyone knew about it. They leaked the location of the game, the main character. They even leaked actual dialogue from the game. A year later, they leaked, they did the same thing with Assassin's Creed. I want to say it was Unity, I can't remember, but they did the same thing. They leaked that as well. And what they said at the time was they hid behind the tag journalism. They said it was journalism and they told the truth, so it's all fair game. Now, of course, no one has told them about, journalistic integrity. So, I'm all up for, if you want to investigate crunch culture, at a developer's company, then that's got some integrity to it. That's got some benefits to it, because you might uncover something and it might create some transparency in that company and create better working environments. There's integrity to that. There's no integrity in leaking information about a game that, millions of people around the world have been waiting 6 years for, or a game that hundreds of people at Nintendo have been working for every day for the past 6 years. There's no journalistic integrity in that, Kotaku. That's why most people, most companies, most outlets don't behave that way unprofessionally. So, you know, yeah, unfortunately, there's just, another set of leaks we have to be careful with. I don't imagine any of the people here are Kotaku aficionados, but, you know, just be aware once again. Now, with that story out of the way, let's end things on a happier note, because yes, we welcome back ex-president of Nintendo America, Reggie Fils-Aimé, who came back onto Twitter to instantly show what a badass he is and how to confront a potential leaker of Tears of the Kingdom. Yes, they should have sent him to Kotaku. He had a little, I was gonna say a run-in, a one-way slap with, like I said, a potential leaker who had posted a picture of their Switch with a copy of Tears of the Kingdom loaded up onto the system. It's unsure whether it was a hacked Switch or an early adopted version of the game. Nonetheless, Reggie Fils-Aimé took it upon himself to summon up his Liam Neeson from Taken, and this is how he responded to said picture. He wrote, "I don't know what you want. What I do have a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you." Yes! And how did this potential leaker act? Let me tell you, he took down the post and got rid of his account instantly. The fear of Reggie got put in him. So man, Nintendo need him back. Send him to Kotaku. Get those suckers sent out. So good to see Reggie back as always. Super nice. I wish he was still the president. I still love you, Doug Bowser. But Reggie's always so fun to be around. So good humor as he has always. Really fun fellow. So yeah, a fun story to end things. So there we go. So we had an array of different stories. Hope you enjoyed the video today. I, of course, as always, will be back to, you know, spread the latest Nintendo news with you guys. If you enjoyed it, as I always say, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and that bell. And until then, have an awesome day, my friends, and I shall catch you tomorrow.